Hey everybody, welcome to Tim's Vinyl Confessions. I'm Tim
guys.
Durling, Matt Phillips, we're at Matt's place. We're here to talk about that little old band from Texas, ZZ Top. We're going to go over our CD collections, and between the two of us, we've got pretty much everything. Neither of us have complete collections. Matt's got some extra things, and he's also got more to talk about. We've got some DVDs and Blu-rays here in the background. We just thought we'd set the scene. ZZ Top are a band that I think is easy for people to kind of overlook and take for granted. There are a handful of songs that get a lot of airplay on classic rock radio, and subsequently I think a lot of people don't bother checking out the deeper parts of their catalog. There's a lot of good stuff. It's blues rock, which I'm not a huge blues rock fan, but the way that ZZ Top play the blues, it's kind of got more excitement. Billy Gibbons is an amazing guitar player. No one ever talks about him, as far as you don't often hear him mentioned in the greats, but if you sit down and try to play what sounds like an incredibly simple guitar lick, it doesn't sound right. You have to have that, I don't know, it's a certain touch.
He's got a style for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, I was thinking about this. This is the only time, and it might be the only time, that I do an episode on a band that has never changed members.
Yeah.
Ever. Which is almost unheard of.
Power trio.
Yeah. And the same power trio right from the beginning. The closest thing would be Rush. But
completely different bands, but
yeah. So, Matt, we're gonna get you to start off because you've got a really cool box set that came out just a few years ago.
yeah. So, I'm not a massive ZZ Top fan, but I really like some of their stuff, and so I picked up the ZZ Top, the complete studio albums. And what you've got here are, I believe it's the first, some dust there.
It's
First 10 albums.
Yeah, it's all of their. I won't say it's all their Warner Brothers albums because they were originally on London, but it's all the ones that Warner Brothers has the rights to.
Kind of opens up like this, and you've got all the albums kind of packed inside.
So they've got little sleeves for each one. This
Yeah,
is
they're
kind
like
of
little-
like the Alice Cooper box set that Will
Yes.
has, that we discussed on a very, very earlier episode. So yeah, let's go over each
All right,
of the
so-
albums, man.
So the first album, ZZ Top's first album. So these are all just like little replica vinyl sleeves.
Very bare bones packaging. Now you can barely recognize that it's a drawing of them, but in the early days when you see them without their beards, it's kind of, you almost don't know who you're looking at.
Yeah, looks like one of the CDs, like from the.
An original issue CD, yeah. Not unlike the version of the first album that I have. This is a US edition. Originally, ZZ Top were on London Records. Then in 1978, London stopped distributing pop and rock albums. That happened to Y&T, it happened to April Wine, and it happened to ZZ Top. Now, ZZ Top were already a big band at this point, so they switched to Warner Brothers. And of course, Warner Brothers reissued all of their albums up to and including their original best of, which we'll get to. So, same graphics that was on the CD that Matt showed you. And disc looks a little bit different. It doesn't have the border around it, but the printing on it is the same. Back cover of the booklet is not much like early CDs. There's not a lot to talk about. And on the inside, there actually is a little bit of info that obviously would have come with the vinyl, which neither of us have on vinyl, but the vinyl episode will be for another time. So that's the first one.
All right, second album from ZZ Top is Rio Grande Mud.
This one's got a cool sight gag, I guess you could call it. When you look at it from afar, it looks like antlers. It's actually the three members of the band.
Okay. There's a live shot.
Yeah, take a look at Billy Gibbons. You could barely recognize him.
Yeah.
But still the same for you guys. It's got one of my favorite early ZZ Top songs with Just Got Paid. It's got a killer riff to it, which again, sounds easy. I've tried to play it. I don't know what he does. So this is my version of it. It's just a US CD reissue. Disc itself, no surprise there. Just what Warner Brothers discs look like. Yeah, it's a real visual trip to see early pictures of them without their trademark beards. There you go. The first big ZZ Top album is the third one, which Matt's about to show you. I think he's got a couple versions of it.
Yeah, so I've got the, this is the version that came with the box set. Again, it's just a really simple
Tres Hombres.
version. And I think the disc is probably... Oh, actually, this
this one folds out.
This is kind of interesting. I wanted to talk about this. Their third album came out the year I was born, 1973, and it's famous for having this inside photograph of like a Mexican feast. Quite a famous photograph. And there's a photographer, or actually a chef in Austin who recreated that feast.
Yes.
Just a couple of years ago. You can find it on Vimeo. There's a video of him actually talking about it and putting it together. And
that's pretty cool.
Yeah. And what he did, there's a photo, I don't know if you can, edit her out. There's a photo of a girl there, and he replaced her with Salma Hayek.
Which links into something we're going to talk about later on in this episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just my basic CD version.
And for the first time, we've got a third one to talk about because in 2006, Rhino, which is the reissue label that Warner distributes, they didn't always distribute it, but they do really good reissues. They did a couple of ZZ Top reissues along with probably this one they issued that box set. But no, I guess that came out a little bit earlier. But this is the reissued version of Tres Hombres. Just it looks a little bit different on the side there. It's got some bonus live tracks on there. There's no songs that are unreleased, but there's a little bit more in it for graphics. And with the CD itself, okay, so
cool.
A little bit of a inner in the CD tray there underneath the CD itself. And the disc itself is completely personalized, customized, as Tres Hombres. Your credits there, and so there's a write-up talking about the band here too. Again, there's Billy Gibbons. Yeah. Again, there's the Mexican meal recreated. Yeah, just a live shot of them on stage. So, yeah, Tres Hombres featured Lagrange, which some, even inside their greatest hits, refers to as their first top 40 hit. It actually wasn't. It peaked at 41, but it got a lot of airplay, and it was the first ZZ Top song to get much acclaim nationally. But they were doing quite well at this point. Like, they were sort of doing really well on the road. I mean, opening for the likes of Alice Cooper.
Oh, okay.
And Alice would later have Billy guest on Paranormal on his most recent studio album. So many years later, those connections were made. Yeah, would be an odd double bill, but it'd be a cool double bill to see. But ZZ Top with anybody, they're so iconic and so unique. I don't know who, but they could tour with just about anybody, and yet they'd seem out of place touring with just about anybody.
Yeah, and go see them while they're still touring.
Yeah, you've actually seen them, which I have not. So
yeah, we can talk about that a little
later. Talk about that as we move along.
So their fourth album was a mix of live and new tracks.
Yeah.
ZZ Top's Fandango.
This came out in 1975 originally. So yeah, the first half of this album is live songs. A lot of not songs that appeared on their previous albums either.
Basic CD.
And this album actually did give them their very first top 40 single with the song Tush, which is one of the most I don't want to say overplayed. It's a fun song to play if you're a guitar player, but it's like a bar band standard. And I've got this is the other Rhino Deluxe edition of Fandango, which again has some bonus live tracks. Another one of my favorite old ZZ Top songs that you never hear is Heard It on the X. I like that one a lot.
So that's the X, is I'm assuming referring to
the X was a pirate radio station that was in Mexico, and I believe it was XERB. And I want to say that one of the DJs was Wolfman Jack.
Oh, really?
And because they were in Texas, they could pick it up. That's my understanding of it. And it's funny because I was listening to that recently.
Yeah.
And when I hear the way that Billy Gibbons sings that song, I have to think he was a big influence on David Lee Roth.
Yeah.
I hear a lot of David Lee Roth in his vocal delivery. Always a bit of a sense of humor to ZZ Top, which is another fun thing about them. And another write-up here.
Wow, I got to pick that up.
They both got the cowboy hats at this point. starting to look a little bit more like themselves. That was originally on the inner sleeve of the record. After Fandango was kind of a forgotten album for ZZ Top. It was their final studio album for London Records. I don't even know how to pronounce it. Tejas? Tejas, which is Texas. Cool album cover.
Yeah.
This came out in 76. No big singles off of this one.
Check out the fold out here.
So Billy's got his beard, but they haven't. I don't think it was until the late 70s that they started growing them out to become that image where
different kind of same kind of CD too.
Yeah, the CD looks the same.
My fingerprints all over it.
Yeah, it's good. It's good for them. And yeah, I've got that one on a CD as well. I don't have this on vinyl, but look cool on vinyl.
Yeah, I really like the kind of muted colors on that one.
I like the back covers. Pretty cool.
Buffalo, replacing.
There's the disc itself. And it was on this tour. I believe they called it the Worldwide Texas Tour, where they had a stage set that had
the shape of
Texas. Yeah. They had rattlesnakes. They had like animals on stage. I don't know. Yeah. They probably could never get away with it now. This one actually has lyrics inside of it.
If you ever get a chance, this one here, Live from Texas, pick up that DVD. There's a really cool interview with ZZ Top. It's called like a poker game. The three guys are just sitting around playing poker, and they talk about stuff like that tour. And, and setting up the. That's
one of my favorite. I mean, a concert DVD is cool to watch, but I love when they have stuff like that on extra stuff. So the next thing to come out, of course, like most successful bands, there's a best of, an inevitable best of. In 1977, you'll see it back here, the vinyl version of it. It's the best of ZZ Top. It's written up like an old Western comic book with some of the song titles down the side. It says, in this issue. Mm-hmm. This is a Canadian Columbia House issue. And it's a pretty good overview of their early career, the songs that they were best known for. Tellingly, there's nothing from Tejas on it, even though that was their most recent album. And this is the last thing from them to come out on London Records. Nothing much inside of it. So this does not appear with Matt's box set. The next one was a kind of a turning point for ZZ Top. It was their first for Warner Brothers, and it was a big album. And
Deguelo?
Thank you. I've never Deguelo. Consuelo. I've never been sure how to pronounce it. This came out in 1979. This was a big album for them. This contained, actually the top 40 single from this was a cover of Sam and Dave's I Thank You, but the best known song from it is probably Cheap Sunglasses. And there's some quirky stuff on this album, like Manic Mechanic,
Dust from My Room.
She Loves My Automobile, I'm Bad, I'm Nationwide. Like it's a very quirky album. And I've got this on CD. This is the first early ZZ Top album to come out in CD by itself. And this is a Canadian Columbia House version. And like the early Warner era CDs, there's a little write-up right on the back.
Cool.
And, there's the disc itself. And it looks like there's a lot in this, but there really isn't. It's a lot of wasted space. So now we're into the 1980s, and
this album cover makes me laugh.
Yeah, 1981.
El Loco.
Yeah, so you can see by now, beards are growing out. They kind of look like themselves. This is another quirky album. Very quirky album. I mean, it's got Tube Snake Boogie on it, and Pearl Necklace, Heaven, Hell, or Houston. They scored a top 100 single. It didn't chart very high on the pop charts, but very Beach Boys sounding song called Layla on this. Leela. Okay. Very Beach Boys sounding. Some quirky material on here. This is actually a German version. I bought this at Frank's Music in Moncton, but it's actually a German import version.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't look all that different. CD itself. Logo. You can hear, listening to this album, they are starting to experiment a little bit with electronics, some drum machines and the like, which leads us to, I think, for our generation, the point at which most of us first heard of ZZ Top, and an album which
here it comes.
Yeah, their biggest selling album, Eliminator.
Eliminator.
An iconic album cover. The iconic car that appeared in all the videos from this album. ZZ Top really, when you think about it, about the most unlikely band to have a career in the MTV era, and they did it spectacularly. They created such an image for themselves, you know, with the car and the girls and the furry guitars and the choreography.
Actually, Paul Abdul was their choreographer.
Yeah, it worked. I mean, it worked brilliantly. And a change in sound on the surface. It's still the same blues rock, but they dressed it up with drum machines, keyboards, but it kept that same blues rock feel to it. And, you know, no surprise.
Quite a few singles on this one.
Yeah, it's the easiest ZZ Top album to find. It is their biggest seller. I don't know if this is a Diamond album or not, but it must be close. So this is just a US edition of Eliminator. And there's not much in here.
So there's a picture of the Eliminator car.
Yeah, there'd be a lot more inside the record itself. So that by this time they had completely not only come back but sort of eclipsed their earlier success. I mean, I guess you can compare it to maybe Aerosmith, a band that kind of people discovered in the 80s that they didn't realize they'd been around as long as they have. So of course they followed up with a very similar sounding album. In 1985, they kind of take their car and put it into space with Afterburner. A lot of hits came off of this one too. Sleeping Bag, Stages, Rough Boy, Velcro Fly. Very similar sounding album. And again, it worked. It worked again for them. It was they were able to tour the world, and this is a CD I have, and it's this is a Canadian Columbia House version. There's one thing I've noticed about this CD when you listen to CDs that are from the mid to late 80s that came out.
The mix on it.
They're a lot quieter. If you listen to a remastered CD and then you put something like this in after, you've got to adjust the volume. It's interesting how I don't know what the thought process was, or maybe that's as much as they were capable of doing. And that's it. That's all you get with the CD. So now it's an interesting situation. And Matt and I both have the same thing, so we'll just let him talk about his because it's the same. In 1987, CDs first started coming out in 1983. Now, I don't remember seeing them in stores until 1985, 1986, and I didn't start buying them until 1990. So record companies didn't always release a band's full catalog on CD. By the time that the mid-80s rolled around, CDs were starting to pick up steam. You could get Eliminator, Afterburner, De Juelo, and the original Best of ZZ Top. So that left their first 5 albums and their 7th album. And instead of releasing them individually on CDs right away, they put this thing out.
Crack open a 6-pack.
Yeah, the ZZ Top 6-pack. Now, it's this is one of those big, they call them a fat boy CD case. You don't see these much anymore, and a lot of them times you don't need these ones, but these have 3 CDs, so you kind of do.
Yeah, so it's 3 CDs, but it's actually 6 albums?
Yeah, there's 2 albums on each disc, because they're relatively short albums, like a lot of 70s albums are. Now, well, it seems like, oh, what a convenient way to get all the ZZ Top music. Yeah. There was some controversy about this, because they remixed all of these albums.
Show you the booklet here.
Yeah, the booklet has some interesting stuff, and there's some interesting articles in there.
Spreads right out.
So what they did is they remixed it. I primarily hear it in the drums. They tried to make it sound kind of like Eliminator and Afterburner. They tried to make them sound newer than they actually were. And a lot of people were upset about that because they eliminated the original mixes of the songs. They didn't eliminate them, no pun intended, but they weren't available on CD.
And here's the other two.
Of course, eventually they reissued them, and the original mixes were intact, and that kind of almost makes that a rarity unto itself by now.
Yep.
The last new ZZ Top album to come out on Warner Brothers didn't come out until 1990, and it's the last one featured in Matt's box set here.
Recycler.
Yeah.
So
very similar artwork to like Afterburner.
A lot of people think it's kind of an apt title. It's like a band redoing their same album like 3 times in a row.
Yeah, it didn't. It was a successful album on momentum, and they were still doing well as a touring act. There were no big singles off of this one. They had, I think the record company thought that the big moneymaker off this one would be the song "Double Back," which appeared on the Back to the Future 3 soundtrack. As a matter of fact, there's a scene, and I vaguely remember the second and third Back to the Future movies, but there is a scene where there's a band playing, and it's ZZ Top, and they're playing the song Double Back, but it sounds like a bluegrass or whatever.
Right.
I can vaguely remember it, but that was their big tie-in, and they thought it was going to be... There was a big, big gap, 85 and 90. I know myself, when that came out, I'm like, ZZ Top, they're old. Like, you had to stay in the public eye back then. So I have this one, too, picked up used, as you'll see from the sticker on it. This is just a Canadian version of the CD on Warner Brothers.
Sinclair.
Not a spectacularly great album, but I mean it's ZZ Top, so they're all listenable. A little bit of credits here, but not much. Yeah, so a very successful second act to a career, which is why Warner Brothers decided to put out something we each have here. A lot of people have this one. Greatest Hits came out in 1992. My version's, I think we both have Canadian Columbia House issues on Warner Brothers, and it's a 17 or 18 song collection, which, of course, it's heavy on Eliminator and Afterburner material, but there is some older stuff on it too, right up on the band. And that's an iconic 80s image by now. I mean, that's what most people think of when they think of ZZ Top. And then there's the albums leading up to it. So greatest hits albums or best ofs of any kind, that usually means that the band is done with their current label situation. And so they switched from Warner Brothers to RCA Records, and in 1994...
they put out...
Antenna. Yeah, like you can see my version compared to Matt's. Mine's quite faded. I bought mine used. You bought yours probably quite new.
Yeah, and
Because you're really into this album.
Yeah, I really got it in 1994. The song "Pincushion."
Yeah,
it's kind of like a heavier version of the band.
So. At least it was heavier recorded or something, and I don't know if that was. I'm not going to say it's not really the grunge thing, but I will
ZZ Top.
But I will say that it probably said we can't do another album like Eliminator or Afterburner or Recycler.
Yeah. So
they stripped it way down. Pincushion's an awesome song, cool riff, cool video. It actually was a #1 mainstream rock track, which for an era where a lot of older bands were getting pushed by the wayside, they did quite well. That was a platinum album, and let's see what's in this thing. Copy I've got is actually a US BMG music service version. Photo of the band, they don't age. Although, yeah, at a certain point, Billy starts wearing these really weird looking hats. So there you go, all the lyrics are in this one too. So they're kind of on a roll at this point. So next thing to come out, 1996. So this is another really stripped down raw album. It's Rhythmine. This came out in 96. You could kind of tell by the album cover it's looking more 70s-ish, which is a good period. This has a lot of great tunes on it. And there's one in particular that Matt's going to go into some detail about.
I really like this one too because it found its way onto the soundtrack for the movie From Dusk Till Dawn. Now I've actually got the soundtrack and the movie, so here's the soundtrack from From Dusk Till Dawn. ZZ Top's on the back. And this is my Steelbook Blu-ray version of the movie. Won't get into too much about this, but it's one of those movies, an early Quentin Tarantino movie with Robert Rodriguez. So Quentin did like the first half of the movie. It's a very Quentin-ish type movie, if you've seen Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
And then the last half of it's like a gore, like horror movie.
It is almost like two movies in one.
Yeah.
So remember we mentioned the guy that recreated the Mexican meal with Salma Hayek instead of whoever it was in the original?
Yeah. So there's the inspiration for that.
Yeah. So ZZ Top finished out the 90s and finished out the century with an album that's... Nobody talks about this one.
Well, I mean, I hate to call this their worst album, but XXX or 30, which was the 30 years
30
of ZZ
years,
Top.
yeah.
So there's really not any songs on here that anyone would know, except for there's a song on here called Sin Pusher,
which is
a live version.
It's kind of a rewrite of
Pincushion from Antenna, yeah.
Which
so
only ZZ Top would think to do something like that. There's not much in it.
Yeah.
Even for a late 90s album, there's nothing in it.
I think here this is another fine work by Gibbons, Hill and Beard.
Yeah.
But, it's not one that you really need to rush out and get.
Yeah, I just I bought that one. I bought that one used. So
then there was quite a wait.
Yeah, 2003, and this is an album I've heard. I don't actually own it as of yet, so that's going to show it to you. I love the cover too. This would look cool on vinyl.
Yeah, this is a really, really long record, whereas most ZZ Top records sit in the 30, 40 minutes. This is well over 60 minutes. This is Mescalero, and they're getting into some electronic music again on here. Things it's kind of known for, a bunch of the songs when this came out, auto-tuning. When Cher did like the auto-tune voice, but didn't do it to correct her voice, but it was as an effect.
Yeah.
They do that quite a bit on this album, so.
Never been afraid to shy away from technology.
Yeah.
So then you talk about a long gap.
Yeah.
Actually, at this point, look, so Warner Brothers' first step is to put out a greatest hits, but then the reissues begin. And Matt's got a very, very cool box set.
Okay. So this is ZZ Top's Chrome Smoke and Barbecue, or BBQ.
This is such a cool set.
So it looks like a little barbecue shack.
Yeah. It's probably, knowing them, it's probably based on an actual location.
Yeah. So there's 4 discs in here. Let's check them out.
Yeah.
So like Tim showed you, it kind of...
It opens up. It's even cardboard on the top. There's that like corrugated cardboard.
Yeah. So I'll just maybe pass these to you and we'll just show them. So on disc 1, it's got stuff like Waiting for the Bus, Jesus Just Left Chicago.
Yeah, this goes as far as Tres Hombres, but the first 3 songs on here are from Billy Gibbons' early band, The Moving Sidewalks.
Right.
So this originally came out in 2003, same year that Mescalero did, which makes sense because a new label puts something out, and so they said, well, we got to put something out too.
Yeah.
So
maybe disc 2 here.
Disc 2, yeah. Disc 2. Yeah, another photo of the band. This one picks up at Tres Hombres. It takes us all the way down to El Loco in 1981. Also contains a radio commercial for the Duelo album. You have to remember that album was 3 years in the making, which is a long, long time in the 70s. So they really put the push on it.
The wrong one.
So disc 3 has this photo of the band. And this one takes us from, covers El Loco. I'm going to see. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 songs from Eliminator and a good chunk of Afterburner too. And finally we wind up with, there's only one more studio album to talk about, plus Viva Las Vegas and Gun Love from Greatest Hits. And then there's what they call medium rare tracks, which are it's a Spanish version of the song Francine, live version Cheap Sunglasses, some dance mixes. This is something that they got into with Eliminator. And Def Leppard did this too,
right,
with some of the Hysteria tracks. So there's 12-inch remixes of Viva Las Vegas, Velcro Fly, a dance mix of Legs.
Mm-hmm.
Some might say it kind of peters out towards the end, but a very cool collection. And there's a huge booklet that comes with this too.
There's a few little things still inside.
Oh, yeah.
So we've got a flip book.
This is awesome, yeah.
So it's one of those, let's see if this will even show up, but
This is like your classic comic
I see the
comic
guitar
digest,
spinning.
where if you move
Yeah.
it creates a moving image.
Yeah. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
A few other things in here. We've got a nice booklet. The menu.
There you go. Little caricatures of the band.
Yep. This way, I guess. So quite an extensive booklet.
Pretty much everything you want to know about ZZ Top at this
Yep.
point.
And a few other things in here. So here's some. I've kept all this stuff together, but here's some like little paper cutouts. I call them cut and plays. I actually picked this box set up at Future Shop in Fredericton here. You know, it's like a technology store.
Yeah.
But they had it improperly listed on their website, and I just happened to find it. So, yeah, I think
So
that's
you got a
for
good
that
deal
box
on it, is
set.
what
Yeah,
you're
I got
saying.
a really good deal. So I was pretty happy to pick that up.
So then, I mean, ZZ Top's touring, and like a lot of classic rock bands, there's not a lot of new music to come out. But finally, in 2012, so we're going on 6 years now, to date, the last new ZZ Top studio album, and it's a great one. They worked with, for the very first time, Rick Rubin, which you'd think would have been a logical choice, but this is the first time, for La Futura. Again, same three guys all along, and this is on Rick Rubin's American recordings. It's hard to see on the side here. Just a 10-song album and 10 good songs. Another raw, gritty sounding album. The only thing I find about this is that the disc flops out very, very easily.
Yeah.
Very little in it for credits, but the music is what matters. And I think this is a great album.
Yeah, my version is actually still sealed, and I'll explain that in a minute. This album actually cracked the top 200 for them. I think it came in at number 6.
Yeah.
So that's the
There's-
first time since like the 90s that they had a
Probably the first time since Antenna.
yeah.
So
So
people were waiting for new ZZ Top, that's for sure. A great tune on here. There was a video for it called I Guess to Get Paid. Classic sounding ZZ Top. And so I believe that they actually put this, there was a digital EP that they put out first that had 4 of these songs on it.
right.
Because I know people were saying, well, I bought this thing already and there's nothing different. And then the album came out and there's only 6 more songs. And like a lot of their classic albums, it's a short little thing. But when you're listening to it and you like it, you don't think about how short it is. You think about, man, that was really good.
Yeah.
So people were waiting for new ZZ Top music. And Matt, you actually saw them on this tour.
Finally got to see ZZ Top live, and this is why I don't have. Well, this is why my other CD was still in plastic, because I made a little frame for. Bought a T-shirt. There's my ticket.
Yeah.
And, stuck my CD inside there.
So as far as the set list that you saw is concerned, is it anything like one of those DVDs?
Yeah, I've got the Live at Montreux is almost exactly the same show that I saw.
It would have been the same tour or the same
Pretty
year?
much, I think so. Yeah, yeah. They don't put on they don't play for a long time.
That's what I've heard. Yeah.
Yeah, you've heard people say, well, they only play for 45 minutes, and I mean, I guess technically by the time you watch all their video intros and stuff, it's only like an hour and 15-minute show. So
Maybe that's what they have to do to keep touring.
yeah,
Any footage I've seen of Billy Gibbons, he doesn't move around a lot.
no, exactly.
So, but I mean, he still sounds the way he's always sounded. He still
Yeah.
plays the way he's always played.
Yeah.
Iconic isn't the word, but he's very individual in his approach. Very eccentric,
Yeah.
I guess, is as far as his guitar playing goes. But again, I instantly identifiable sound and hard to duplicate.
Yes.
I've never. I've seen a lot of bar bands slog their way through Tush and Lagrange, and they never sound right.
No.
They either make it too heavy, or they just don't have the.
It's in the fingers.
And there's an attitude and there's a swing in that playing too. So, and Billy, though oddly enough, has been the most active member of ZZ Top outside of the confines of the band. So La Futura to date is the most recent ZZ Top studio album. That doesn't mean there won't be another one. We don't know, but Billy has to date released 2 solo albums, and Matt's going to show them to you and tell you about them.
Okay, so the first one came out in 2015. We're going back to a short album, so this one's only 39 minutes long. It's Billy Gibbons' Perfectamundo.
And at a certain point, he started referring to himself as Billy F. Gibbons.
Yeah.
So
the style of this, I mean, if you like ZZ Top, you're going to like this record, but it's got some kind of dance and Cuban flavor to it. So just be aware of that. A couple of the songs, actually, I think the first 2 tracks I wrote down here are covers of someone else wrote these songs. Got Love If You Want It and Treat Her Right.
Treat Her Right.
Yeah.
Was that not a song that, and I'm going to pull this out of my head here, am I right to say that Gene Simmons has done that song with his band as of late?
Yeah, I think you're right, actually.
So,
yeah.
obviously, this for musicians that came of age through the 60s and into the early 70s, this must have been a well-known song.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yep. Yeah, I really like that album. And he put out another one a few years later. This one's also short. Just comes in under 40 minutes. It's 11 songs.
The Big Bad Blues.
Mm-hmm. And 5 of these are cover songs.
That's really interesting because, I mean, ZZ Top, one of the things that kind of makes them unique, they've certainly done covers, but they don't do a lot of them. A lot of their stuff is original material. Mm-hmm. So there you go.
Yeah. I think I actually forgot to show the inside of that one.
Okay, so we'll get this one out too, sure.
But, there's not much to really see inside of here, but
so he's got kind of a modified SG there.
Yeah, I just think it's cool that he's still
making the music. Now this maybe kind of sums up the sound because he's got a Telecaster and an amp there, but a couple of bongo drums. So that might give you a clue as to what's inside of here.
Yeah. So that's a more traditional sounding record.
And it certainly sounds like, too. So he's taken to wearing those hats. It's oddly enough, I have to mention this with Billy Gibbons. I mean, I'm sure you've all out there binge watched shows on Netflix. Sarah and I completely binge watched the show Bones.
Oh, okay.
And Billy Gibbons has a brief but recurring role on Bones as the father of one of the characters on there.
Oh,
he's playing himself. He never refers to himself, but it's a fictionalized version of himself, and they never go into much detail about it. And even in his acting, he's very... his character's name is Angela, but her actual birth name that he gave her was Pookie Noodlin, that's very much like he named one of his guitars Pearly Gates, so that's very typical Billy Gibbons. So there you go. So what have you guys got out there, if any, for ZZ Top stuff? Any fun looking things, like any singles or anything like that? Tell us about it. Show us a picture here below. And thank you for watching Tim's Vinyl Confessions.
Well, this is kind of when I started getting into AC/DC, oddly enough. They're at the
ZZ Top?
Let's edit that out. AC/DC. They had a really... Oh my... kind of like a heavier AC/DC. Oh my God!
What's with the AC/DC? God. That's funny. Okay, let's try that again.
What? I don't... ZZ Top.
Yeah. Other end of the alphabet.
Why? What?
Okay.
All right. That was a long one.